Now, Dexi IO is a really cool tool. In fact, it's one of the tools that I used when I first launched my startup. Well, maybe not when I first launched, but when I got a little bit more advanced, started getting customers. I used Dexi for web scraping and for scraping a bunch of art from the internet and putting it into my app. Now, Dexi is a little bit more of an advanced tool, so you're going to want to maybe hold off on it. I recommend actually, if you want to do web scraping of things, do some hand curation first. It's what we did for Collectos, what a lot of startups do. Do some hand curation of whatever it is that you're recommending first, and then graduate to Dexi. But I want to show you how Dexi works so you can have a vision of how this will fit in for your product. So, Dexi is going to allow you to do really awesome web scraping without code. So it says web data processing tool where you can extract, enrich, and connect all of your data. And I want to show you really quickly exactly how Dexi works. So there are a couple features that we really love on the Apps Without Code team that Dexi has. The first one is this thing called suggested elements. So what Dexi will do is when you're ready to set up scraping on a page, let's say you want to go to Amazon and you want to look at books that all start with the letter A. What Dexi will do, and it's smart enough to do, is to suggest elements on the page that you might want to scrape. So imagine that you're looking at Amazon.com and overlaid on top of it, you can see that Dexi is suggesting, hey, here's the photo of the book. Do you want to grab that? Or here's the title of the book. Do you want to grab that? So it does these really cool suggested elements that make the work really fast for you. Also, Dexi has a really, really cool service feature that they make available. And what they do is the first scraper that you build up, they'll build it for you. So you have a template for how to set up your scraper. And they offer that as a free service when you sign up. So make sure to ask them for that. Finally, you've got a really, really awesome visual layout. And what you're able to do with the visual layout in Dexi is think about like a flow chart that tells you all of the different things that you need to do in order. So you can say first scrape the title, and then scrape the photo, and then repeat that 10 times, and then go to the next page of Amazon books, whatever it might be, right? And so you're able to create this visual workflow, think like a flow chart of all the actions that you want Dexi to take. Now, my friend Ryan is going to do a quick walkthrough for us of what Dexi looks like on the inside.
So Dexi is a web scraping service which allows you to create like a bot that goes to other websites and gathers information from them. So I'll show you quickly how to start your first project. So after you log in, you'll arrive to a page like this. Up here, you can press new and create a new robot, which will not go into the crawler pipes or the nicely named Autobot. We'll go to a website. After it's done loading, you'll see this interface. It may not make much sense at the start, as I imagine, like, what do I do here? So what we'll want from this website is just today's top apps. So we won't worry about going into a lot of the advanced stuff that Dexi can do. We will just scrape from this website the today's top apps. So a quick way to start doing this is to create a loop. A loop is essentially something that will do one thing and then move to the next one and to the next one. So to start doing this, we will start wanting to create some elements to tell it what to do. So first we'll want to extract this title. We can give it a name and then the type of data that it is. So this one is a text, but if it's like an image, you can use an image or true or false. So now that we have a title, we maybe want a description or an amount of upvotes. So we'll create another one. same as before. And now if we were to run this, you should notice that we just get this one, the top one that we selected, the perspective and a short description. But we want this whole list. So to do that, we will want to create a new step here. And this is a great feature of Dexi, which, as you can see, I selected 2 elements on the page, and it suggested all 15 of them, which is very easy because I just press add, and now they're all in the system. So after I press OK, that will add in this looping, which we'll see if it works by testing. And you can see it added 2 of the same ones, apparently. And the reason for that is because if I go to this title, you'll notice that it is extracting a specific component. So we can simply fix this, and there's better ways to do this, is just by removing the nth child, very cleverly named, and this should go through all of the elements now.
So when it comes to scores, the report card, we give Dexi an A+ when it comes to price. They've got a pretty robust free plan, and even when you get into the paid plans, they're pretty reasonable. So you can see here that the free plan gives you up to 10 concurrent robots working and scraping at a time, and a couple other things here that you can see. The professional plan is $100 a month, but that just means that you have a ton of concurrent robots scraping at one time. If you're able to sort of section them out so that they're not all scraping at one time, the free plan will be just fine for you. I also want to contrast Dexi to its competitor, Import.io, and you can see that the prices start at $250 a month and go up. So Dexi is a really good offer because it starts with that free plan and has a lot of really cheap offerings and abilities for you to do this robust web scraping. Again, if you're just starting, it's fine. Just go ahead and start by hand curating, and then when you're ready to graduate to Dexi, it's a good move for you to make. So let's also talk about ease of use of Dexi. We give it a B-. You might curse a little bit, but that's because you're doing something as complex as web scraping, right? I mentioned this is a little bit more of an advanced tool. If you're going to scrape the internet, you've got to spend a little bit of time figuring it out. So you may curse a little bit. It may be tough to set up at first, but if you leverage the fact that they set up your first scraper for you, and you leverage the fact that there are a lot of tutorial videos out there on how to do this. In fact, the support community has a lot of tutorials and community support for you. So you're going to have to do a little bit of work to get it set up, but it's really awesome what you're able to do once you do that. So give it a B-. Finally, when it comes to bells and whistles, we give Dexi an A+. Really, what helps are those suggested elements. They kind of read your mind and tell you what you can put where and what to scrape. It makes the work a lot easier, and really it might suggest some elements or a way to structure the way you do your web scraping that you might not have thought of before. So overall, we give Dexi.io a B+. Really good tool. Again, the only thing that really brings it down is that ease of use, and if you're a little bit tech savvy and you can spend some time setting it up and getting it working, it'll be definitely worthwhile.